What's going on, everyone? This is Erik from Full 9 MMA, and today I am joined by Michael Chiesa, who will be headlining a UFC fight night against Neil Magny on January 20th. Mike, how are you?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks again for coming on today.
Absolutely.
Obviously, your fight just got bumped up to main event, so congratulations for that.
Thank you.
Initially, this was supposed to be headlined by Leon Edwards versus Khamzat Chimaev. So I kind of just want to get your initial reaction. This is still pretty fresh news. Like 2 days ago, we all found out about it. What was your initial reaction to getting this main event slot? Obviously, it's 5 rounds now instead of 3. So yeah, what was your reaction?
Well, first of all, when I woke up a couple days ago and saw the news that Khamzat Chimaev was out, my first reaction was I lost a fight with Neil. My manager reached out, and first thing he asked is if I want to step in lobby for the main event spot against Leon. I said, absolutely. I mean, who wouldn't jump on that opportunity? But nonetheless, I was pretty bummed out. You know what I mean? A, I wanted to see that fight because it's big for my division, and two, I just thought I was going to lose my fight. And I've been, hyper focused on Neil. I've had a fairly long notice knowing I'm going to fight him. So I was very disappointed that I thought I was going to lose the fight, but knowing that I got to keep the matchup and I'm getting bumped to a main event, I mean, super stoked, you know what I mean? And, this kind of takes it more into Neil's wheelhouse, him being such a, cardio based fighter. I mean, he puts a great pace on guys. He can fight from bell to bell, whether it's a 15-minute fight or a 25-minute fight. I mean, he's there for the duration. So, nonetheless, I'm still excited for the opportunity. I've had a long, great training camp. I feel good. Conditioning is not going to be a problem. I'm just excited to go out and compete. I'm excited for my second spot in the main event.
Yeah, no, and it's a really exciting fight. I want to talk a little bit about your opponent because Neil Magny is kind of a dark horse in the welterweight division. Always fighting high-level competition. In a lot of ways, doesn't necessarily get the credit that he deserves. At least a lot of MMA fans seem to think so. What do you make of him as an opponent, and how would you strategize fighting somebody like him without giving too much away, of course?
No, it's fine. It's an opponent. He's as tough as they come. You know what I mean? He's the second for all-time wins leader at welterweight. And he's been in there with the who's who of guys. He's fought Kelvin Gastelum. He's fought Hector Lombard. He's fought Santiago Ponzinibbio. He's fought a lot of really tough guys. But he's just an exceptional human being. I mean, he's an awesome guy. He served in the Army. How do you not root for the guy? But he presents a lot of challenges. He's very tall. He's got the 80-inch reach. He's 6'3". I still, even though he's got longer arms, I still don't feel like he's got necessarily a bigger frame than me. He might be a little taller, might be a little longer. I feel like I'm just a little more thick. I feel like I've got a little more density to me. I can't say too much. I don't want to give too much away, but I think that this is going to be fun for me to fight a guy bigger than me in terms of the range and the height. I'm excited for the challenges that he presents in that aspect. And we prepared very well for him. So it's going to be a fun fight to watch. And I think that people are going to see a side of me that they've never seen before. And I'm going to be looking to go out and get the finish. That's just like I do every fight. I want to get the finish. I want to get the job done as early as I possibly can, but I got to be ready for 25 minutes. So nonetheless, it's going to be a fun fight and I'm excited.
Well, of course. And I know a lot of us are really happy that this fight stayed together. Really important fight for the future of the welterweight division. You've had a lot of success at 170 so far since moving up 3-0, if I'm not mistaken, in the UFC. What would a win over Magny do for you in terms of where you lie in that welterweight division?
Well, I think it's going to shoot me up close to the top 5. The top 5 is really stacked. I mean, this whole division's stacked, top to bottom. I mean, there's guys not even in the rankings that are super tough. It can be, they don't even have a number next to Santiago Ponzinibbio's name. Mm-hmm. And that's the last guy to beat Neil Magny. So that just shows how tough this division is and how deep it is. But it's imperative I get a win, not only to go up in the rankings, but the one thing I've never done in the UFC is I've had a few 3-fight win streaks. I've never won 4 in a row. And so it's not as much about, my end goal is I want to end this year as number 1 contender. I want to be a guy that's at least in the top 3 by the time December 2021 rolls around. Sorry, I almost said 2020 again. But it's about my personal goals too. You know what I mean? Like I have personal goals in mind that to me are equally as important as my professional goals. Mm-hmm. So I want to get that 4-fight win streak under my belt in the UFC, 4 straight fights. That'd be great. You know what I mean? And I got a good dance partner, man. He's super tough. He's going to bring out the best in me. And, I'm just excited to compete again. It's been a long time, and, I'm just excited to be back.
Yeah, definitely. And we're all obviously excited to see you back. Last fight was in January. So, you had one fight in 2020, did a lot of analyst work. You still certainly kept yourself very busy. But this will be your first fight, during these COVID times in the empty arena back in January. Obviously, there was a crowd when you fought Rafael dos Anjos. Do you think that that's going to be weird for you at all? I mean, you guys are both Ultimate Fighter veterans, so you're used to fighting in the empty arena. But what's that going to be like for you, do you think?
I don't think it's going to be an issue. I mean, as a matter of fact, I know it's not going to be an issue. I had the Ultimate Fighter under my belt, and that's that now is unparalleled experience. Because it's exactly like this. You know what I mean? And actually, our season, we had a pretty rowdy team, so we got amongst the guys on Team Faber, we were pretty loud during the fights. But I know what it's like to fight in an emptier venue, and during doing my analyst work, especially the trip to Fight Island. When I would do the analyst work in Las Vegas, I didn't get to sit actually in the Apex and watch the fights. There's like a little kind of like a stage up off to the back corner, but we got to come out we got to come out and kind of watch the main events and get ready for when the show ends to do the post-fight show. But being at the Flash Forum, that last trip to Fight Island, I got to sit and watch all the fights. So I really got to kind of soak in what the environment's got to be like. And I made sure to take the time. I just had a feeling in my gut that I was going to end up fighting on Fight Island. I don't know what it was. Just something deep inside me was telling me like, hey, your next fight's going to be here. So I made sure when I was there to really soak it up in terms of how the fights were in the forum, went back, checked out the locker rooms. I really got a good read on the vibe. That doesn't really necessarily mean I have any type of advantage going into this fight, but I just know what I'm getting myself into. And, nonetheless, I'm excited, whether the fight's whether I got to get up at 2 a.m. to warm up and get ready for my fight, or I get to do it at a regular start time, whether there's fans, there's no fans, no matter what, I'm just excited to get back in there and compete. I didn't even get to really showcase what I'm capable of in this division in my last fight. I kind of limped into that one with a broken nose. Didn't really get to spar that camp. I sparred once. I had one spar. I got to spar one time for Rafael dos Anjos. And that was like 6.5 weeks before the fight. So getting to have a full camp under my belt, bearing no injuries, knock on wood. I'm really excited to showcase my skills. And this is a fight where I got to be on point. I mean, I got to fight 25 minutes against a guy that's got a penchant for having great cardio. So this isn't a fight that I can go limping into. I can't go through a camp with a broken nose against a guy like Neil Magny. He's super tough. He's going to stick that long jab in my face, and I'd be like Picasso by the time I got done if I went in there with the broken nose. So I'm excited, man. It's going to be a fun fight.
It is. It's very exciting. And, you talked a little bit about your camp just now. How's that been? Obviously, your last training camp, again, very early 2020, before the world has changed so much. Have you had to change up the way that your camp operates a little bit because of that, or have you been able to keep it pretty much the same?
Yeah, there's some differences.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I'm not training with huge groups of people. I haven't had the vid yet, knock on wood. And, so I live in Washington State, so gyms are closed down right now. So fortunately for me, my MMA team, we're in the process of building a new facility. So we've been kind of training out of like a makeshift area for a while now. So that hasn't changed, but we're just keeping the group smaller. And I built a home gym in my garage, and it's actually pretty badass. Like I have it's like, I call it it's like the Chiesa Performance Institute. You know what I mean? Like I work directly with Bo Sandoval at the UFCPI. So whenever we're doing these programs, it's like, what do I need? And he'll tell me what I need and I'll buy it. And so it's like, I got
That's
my
awesome.
squat rack, my air bike, my ski ergs, I got battle ropes, I got maces, I got dumbbells. I got like this it's pretty cool, man. So I'm doing all my strength conditioning at home. And, and it might sound like I'm putting myself at a disadvantage when it's like, I'm going against a cardio guy and you're doing all your conditioning in your garage. It's like, well, if you actually saw I put probably $15,000 in my home gym. Yeah, so it's like, it's pretty badass.
You're gonna have to do a tour of that at some point and put that on
YouTube.
YouTube.
It's not a big one. It's like a 10 by 10 space. It's like a 12 by 12 space. I got rubber flooring. I have everything I need. You know
That's
what I mean?
Dream.
So doing all my strength conditioning at home, and then my jiu-jitsu coach, in my boxing coaches, they're making stuff work. We're making it work. And so it's not different in terms of the work. I'm still getting the quality work that I would for any training camp, but it's just not the same environment where I'm like able to, kind of interact and mix it up with a lot of people. It's just really kind of a close knit group. I just got to be safe. It's not like I'm not worried about getting COVID and being deathly ill. I know that that's a reality for a lot of people, but I don't want to get COVID and get pulled from my fight. Not at this stage in the game, man. Especially not when I'm this close. I mean, I'm less than 20 days away, man. It's 18 days till go time. I can't get the bid, man. I got to stay healthy. So, yeah, we're doing everything right. We're taking all the right precautions to make sure I get to the fight. And I'm in freak shape. I got a freaking 8-pack under here, man. I'm telling you.
Well, there you go. Yeah, no, it sounds like you're ready and you've been preparing, obviously. Of course, I wanted to ask one more time about Khamzat versus Leon Edwards. Since, this was such a big fight that was supposed to happen, it's beginning to look like the Tony versus Khabib of the welterweight division. It's just stars are not aligning. As someone in the division, obviously the results of that fight affect you very much. So with that in mind, I was wondering who you think is going to take that fight when it hopefully inevitably happens.
It's a really hard fight to predict. There's on both sides of it, on one side you have Chimaev, 3-0 in the UFC, but not the most battle tested 3-0. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't say there's no gimme fights in the UFC, but those are very favorable matchups. And then you got Leon Edwards, who's been in there with a who's who of tough guys. His last loss came to the champ, Kamaru Usman. Since then, he's on an 8-fight win streak. His last win, Rafael dos Anjos, July 20th of 2019, if I'm correct.
I think you're right.
I know this. I'm testing my brains here. But that was his last win, 5-round decision win over Rafael dos Anjos. But we haven't seen him in a long time. I sway towards Leon Edwards. And, I know Chimaev has got tremendous skills. He's very young. I mean, he hasn't even been doing mixed martial arts for that long. But just a guy like Leon Edwards, man, he's been in there with a lot of really tough guys. And I think that you put him in a main event spot and he's able to kind of withstand kind of that early pace that Khamzat puts on, and the fight slows down a little bit. I think that could favor him. And who knows? We haven't seen Khamzat go the distance, at least in the UFC we haven't. So it's like, that pace he puts on early, it's fast, it's furious, it's insane. But can he sustain that for 5 rounds? There's a lot of questions surrounding this main event. They need to be answered. This fight has to happen, but it's questions on both sides. So I sway a little towards Leon in this fight, but anything can happen. But this is the perfect fight to find out if Khamzat's the real deal. And to the dismay of a lot of guys, if he beats Leon, he's getting a title fight. I just don't think that they're gonna even wait. I mean, you go out, he goes out in his 4th fight, puts away a guy like Leon, whether it's a decision or a finish. I think they put him in a title fight. So, it's an exciting fight. It's an exciting fight for the division. I like the challenges that both guys present. I like myself. To putting this spotlight back on myself. I like how I match up against both guys. So whoever wins, may the best man win. I'll see him at the top.
Yeah, you probably will see at least one of them at some point.
Yeah.
Those are all the questions that I have for the day. Real quick, I wanted to give you the opportunity, give any shout outs, sponsors, teammates, whoever you want to give a shout out to. The floor is yours.
Just shout out to my team, everybody at Sick Jitsu, everybody at Newborn, all my teammates, my manager, all my sponsors on it, Nike Wrestling, Zebra Mats, Sornex, everybody, Hyperfly. Yeah, that's it. I love my mom, love my fiance. I'm excited to fight Island January 20th. Let's go.
We all are. Yeah, no, we can't wait to see you in there. Thanks again for taking the time today. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow Mike on Twitter. We'll link that below and on the screen. But yeah, good luck January 20th. We can't wait to see it.
Thank you, sir.
Hey guys, it's Erik from Full Mount MMA. Check out some of our other videos, and if you like that content, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell button so you never miss an update.